This image is made up of only 3 colors, and none of them are black. In this video, I'm going to show you how to give your art a brain-bending glitch effect in just a few minutes. It turns out, with a little bit of color theory and the multiply blend mode, you can scramble the human brain.
He's got the brain scramblies.
Pretty fun. I'll be using Procreate for a few extra steps in the end to give the art a little more pizzazz, but really this effect can be done in any drawing or editing program that has the multiply blend mode, which is pretty much all of them. Let's hop over to the iPad. Here we have a little illustration I whipped up using only one color separated from the background. This effect works best with illustrations that are made up of big blocks of color and not too many small outlines. First, we're going to alpha lock this layer so we can't put any color outside of the design. Then we're going to duplicate the layer twice. I know I said none of the colors used were black, so let's change that. In no particular order, I'm going to change the color of each layer to yellow, cyan, and magenta. Since all of our layers are alpha locked, we can do that by simply tapping on each layer and click Fill Layer. You don't have to have exact colors here. In fact, having a little color variation will make your final illustration a little more interesting. Here's where the magic happens. I'm going to change each layer to the multiply blend mode. Without getting too technical, this blend mode combines the colors of the layer with what's underneath. You can see the top layer is yellow, so when I change it to multiply, it blends with the cyan layer below to make green. And then when I change the cyan layer to multiply, we get black because the colors of yellow, cyan, and magenta together form black. In this case, because the colors are not perfect, we get kind of this dark green, but that's okay because having a color that isn't straight up black will give the illustration a lot more character. Technically, you don't have to set the bottom layer to multiply, but I like to do it anyway just to keep things uniform. Now all we have to do for the glitch effect is move each layer slightly so they're not perfectly overlapping. That way the edges are not overlapping and you get this nice variety of color that kind of hurts your brain, but in a fun way. This is all we need for the basic glitch effect, but I'm going to use a couple of Procreate tools to bring the whole thing up a notch. If you're liking this video so far, please click that like button. It lets the algorithm know that other people will find this video useful. And after the video, if you want to get something really cool for yourself and support the channel, consider checking out my shop for a whole lot of prints, stickers, and shirts, including a print of the design we're making today. At this stage, I like to group my layers and then duplicate that group and then turn off one of the groups. These next steps will heavily modify the layers, and I like to have a backup in case I mess something up. We're gonna tap this magic wand looking icon up here and use some adjustments. You can play around endlessly with these effects, but for this design I want to go with sort of a vintage printmaking sort of look. Shout out to Chris Piasek, he has a fantastic channel and I basically stole this part from him. For each layer we're going to use the noise adjustment to roughen things up a bit. Just tap noise and then slide your stylus over to get a little bit of grain in there. There aren't any hard rules here, just play with the sliders and make them slightly different on each layer. I recommend keeping it on the more subtle side because these effects can stack up pretty quickly. This is looking pretty good. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did with the noise effect with the bloom effect, which gives everything a slight glow. Just like the last step, go through and play with the sliders a little bit to your liking. To finish this off, I'm going to put a paper texture on top of everything and then switch it to the multiply blend mode to blend with everything underneath. And in no time at all, we can enjoy melting people's brains with a trippy glitch effect. This was a design I did for a daily art challenge that ended up lasting 115 days. If you want to know what I learned from that challenge, check out the video here.